So, the Indiana Fever just signed somebody. I'm kind of surprised the Indiana Fever signed somebody, like, today. So they signed someone to a 7-day contract, which means, did they waive somebody? Did the Fever not have to waive somebody to do that? Which means somebody's probably getting waived.
The moment fans dreaded, but deep down always feared, has arrived. The Indiana Fever are officially shopping for Caitlin Clark replacements, and they're not even bothering to hide it anymore. Let's call it what it is. Indiana knows something the rest of us don't.
Other point guard. And my brain goes two different ways on this. Either one, the Fever weren't so happy with Odyssey Sims' performance in her first game with the Indiana Fever. And I think a lot of fans were underwhelmed. However, Odyssey Sims had a high bar to clear because Ari McDonald, when she came to the Indiana Fever, she immediately made an impact and played great right away. Odyssey Sims did not have a great game in that last game whatsoever. And so are they signing her to challenge Odyssey Sims and see who plays better, or are they signing her because they know that Caitlin Clark is not going to be returning this season and they're going to need another point guard for this last stretch of games and going into playoffs? We'll just have
another point guard, and my mind splits in two directions here. Option one, the Fever weren't thrilled with Odyssey Sims' debut. Let's be honest. Her first game in Indiana left fans underwhelmed, especially when you remember the bar was set sky high by Ari McDonald, who made an immediate impact the moment she arrived. Sims, by comparison, struggled. So maybe this new signing is about competition, pushing Sims to prove herself. Option two, and the one nobody wants to say out loud, Indiana knows Caitlin Clark isn't coming back this season, and with the playoffs looming, they need another point guard to carry the load.
Get into this. The Indiana Fever welcome Kyra Lambert to the team. Another point guard with Sydney out, with Ari out, with Caitlin Clark's return. Who the heck knows at this point? We need some point guards on this team. Odyssey Sims, she played this past Tuesday. Looked like she haven't picked up a basketball in months. Now we go out and get Kyra Lambert.
And then, just days later, they signed Kyra Lambert to another 7-day deal. 2 point guards, 2 desperate moves, and 1 glaring reality. The Fever are preparing for life without Caitlin Clark, and they don't expect her back anytime soon.
Lambert has never played in the WNBA before, yet the Fever did have room to add another player on a hardship deal. So Lambert, it was announced by the team, has been brought in. This is what the press release itself says, so I'll let them set the context for you. The Indiana Fever have signed guard Kyra Lambert to a 7-day contract the team announced today. The Fever qualify for the roster spot due to the injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald. Lambert has spent the entirety of her professional career playing in Europe, most recently with Olympiacos, where she won the Greek A1 League. During that season, Lambert averaged 15.4 points per game while shooting 42.1% from beyond the arc. Good.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, because here comes the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. Caitlin Clark has missed 21 games this season. 21. That's not just a setback. That's a body sending a message she doesn't want to hear. From the season opener, it's been one battle after another. A quad strain that sidelined her for weeks, a left groin injury, and now a right groin injury that's left her sitting on the bench like a spectator at her own career funeral.
Have signed a player from overseas in shocking development. Now they had no European players on the team, and look like the Indiana Fever new player did speak to the media earlier today. We got some of that footage. Let's roll
this opportunity that'd be coming for you.
Officially Monday. Yeah, Monday, so it was a pretty quick turnaround.
Take me through the emotions of that day, knowing that this was coming your way and that you'd have a chance to play on a team that might need you to play right away.
Yeah, no, I was super excited. It's a blessing, having the journey that I've had and just, remaining faithful, trusting God and doing the work, and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity as well.
And here's the kicker. Before this season, Caitlin Clark had never missed a single game, college or pro, not once. She was basketball's Iron Woman, the player you could set your watch by. Now she's collecting injuries like trading cards, each one more serious than the last. The official line from Coach Stephanie White: we're taking it day to day, putting no timetable on it. Translation: they have no clue when or if she'll return at full strength. White even admitted Clark hasn't rejoined practice, still limited to full court running drills like she's rehabbing from major surgery.
As Caitlin Clark fans, this is a nasty position to be in. We're dealing with the Indiana Fever telling us that Caitlin Clark is day to day, and we know the Indiana Fevers, Amber Cox, Kelly Crosskoff, Stephanie White are all liars. We can't believe anything the Indiana Fever say, and we know that. So we have the Fever saying Caitlin Clark is day to day.
Want to know how bad this really is? Let's look at the numbers, because they paint a picture more brutal than any injury report. Since Clark went down, WNBA viewership has cratered by 55%. The Fever's national TV ratings, down 53%. Games that once drew 1.8 million viewers are now struggling to scrape 847,000. And it doesn't stop there. Ticket prices for Fever road games have collapsed, falling anywhere from 47% to 71%, depending on the matchup. That Chicago Sky showdown that was hyped as a marquee event, seats that once sold for $86 were suddenly going for $25 after the injury news broke. That's not just a dip. That's a free fall straight off a financial cliff.
Clark's injury is tanking WNBA ticket prices. The star Indiana Fever guard suffered a quad injury and is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. This comes on the heels of the WNBA and other teams moving games into larger arenas to accommodate Caitlin's fans. And as sports fans, I think we all know that Caitlin Clark is the most popular women's basketball player. In fact, she might be one of the most popular female athletes in the entire world. Ever since she burst into the national consciousness, women's basketball has experienced a rise in popularity. But is it Caitlin? Or is it women's basketball? Per Front Office Sports, get-in tickets for the Fever's rivalry game against the Chicago Sky on June 7th are down 71% from $86 to $25.
Even the WNBA All-Star Game, hosted in Clark's own backyard of Indianapolis, couldn't escape the fallout. Ratings sank 35% without her. Sure, 2.19 million viewers is still a solid number, but it's a far cry from the 3.44 million who tuned in when Clark suited up the year before. The league tried to spin it as the second most watched All-Star game ever, but notice what they compared it to: 2023, not 2024. Why? Because admitting the truth would mean acknowledging the obvious. This league's entire momentum rests on the shoulders of one injured superstar.
35%. WNBA ratings down, All-Star game 35% than last year. Yet you're telling me that it doesn't have to do with Caitlin. 35%. It really makes it difficult for fans of the WNBA in general and Caitlin Clark, like myself, to have conversations, to join a Discord, just to I don't know, want to just talk up the WNBA in general when you can't even give Caitlin the props that she deserves.
Even the WNBA All-Star Game, the referees hosted in Clark's own backyard, Indianapolis, protect their biggest star. Couldn't escape the fall all season long. Ratings sank 35%. Caitlin Clark is now target of physical play so brutal. 2.19 million NBA veterans is still a solid number. She's been fouled to 46 cry from the 3.44 million. But here's the stat that she embarrassed the WNBA. The league tried to spin it as the second most watched All-Star game. 5 were against Clark. But notice what they compared it to: 17% of all flagrants landing on one player out of 144. Because admitting the truth would mean acknowledging the obvious. And then there's a Chicago Sky. This league's entire momentum. They alone are responsible for 80% of those flagrants. 4 out of 5. Let that sink in. The most maddening part? Clark herself has had confront officials just to beg for basic protection. Cameras even caught her warning she called the league office about referee Michael Price. And honestly, who could blame her? When you're being poked in the eye, shoved to the floor after dead balls, and body checked like you're playing the NHL, all while refs shrug it off as normal contact, you'd lose your mind too.